come to you with much excite. I've realized I'm looking to offer a series based off the elements in our system. The elements coming from a framework of polarity therapy as taught by Dr. Randolph Stone. He actually derived a lot of his elemental theory, which is where we look at the first 5 chakra bodies from the root to the sacral, to the solar plexus, to the heart, to the throat. And this comes from the Ayurvedic traditions and wisdoms and teachings. So here we're just going to explore from the throat down. So today, in fact, I don't know about that, but what I do know is that we are starting with the ether element. The throat connects to the ether element. And I'm wearing blue to honor the visualization that often comes with this space in our body. The color blue being associated largely with the throat and the ether element. The ether element is one that acts as a medium for all the other elements to move through and be expressed. And so we're beginning with this element to really fine-tune our awareness around the different types of elements through clearing the medium and the access point where we are expressing, experiencing, interpreting the other elemental bodies. So we're going to become familiar with this sort of neutral point. We're also looking at a quality that it brings known as sattvic, which is really about stillness, finding a neutral point, often in a space of deep silence and deep listening. So we're going to explore some of this today in the qualities of the throat chakra and the ether element, as much as we are going to also step into some energizing of our ultrasonic core energy, just looking at amplifying our vital energy that sits deep to our spinal cord and breathes through us, through the fluids in our system. And we're going to activate for the day. This is something I will say, we're going to explore stillness, but we're also going to energize. So this is something I would invite whenever you come to this video to do at a time where you are needing to cultivate energy. This is something I would not do before bed, for you may find yourself with a reservoir of energy that has nowhere to go in the night hours as you try to rest. That may be difficult for you. So here we are. And we're beginning today with connecting into the throat chakra body and the ether element. We're acknowledging the color of light blue, uplifting blues as our visualization process as we're exploring today. We're going to look at toning through some sounds. We're going to look at some diaphragm massage, helping open up our central channel to invigorate a deep, sustained opening for our ultrasonic core energies. So we're going to begin with an inquiry. You know, the throat chakra, sometimes these things can, I think, feel a little removed from ourselves when it's not in our daily conversation or our culture. And we come to ask ourselves, you know, maybe it's like this mystical thing. Oh, what is my throat chakra body doing today? Is it, you know, something, whatever have you of the imagination. And so I like to begin, you know, in more of a straightforward format of inquiry to say, the qualities that come with the throat. How do we experience our throat? starting with the physical sensation, leading to bigger questions, especially if there is no question at hand. And if you're just simply looking to experience the throat chakra body just curiously, then here are some questions to consider in this process of getting to know the quality of the throat. So one question, checking in as we relate to our throat body, again, this ether element, this is that which we express through our voice comes through. It's largely a body of self-expression. And when we look at imbalances, we look at, is this an excess or is this in depletion? And what does balance look like in the moment for us? So this is something to consider when you say, how is my throat feeling? Am I feeling constriction? Am I feeling a sense of trapped? Or am I feeling a sense of length and openness? And excess, lockdown throat, we'd be looking at maybe overly communicating, just not enough space, just constantly outputting and causing it to create a sense of suffocation, too much. And on the depleted end, we may look at like a withering in, a slight, I must not say something, like we aren't speaking to our voice in the moment, that for whichever has come up that may has caused whatever it is, whatever we're facing in the day, we may find ourselves on the depleted end, choosing not to speak, choosing like we shouldn't speak. Looking at, again, the qualities, it can also give constricted feelings. So here we are, we're going to just begin to kind of look into, through this inquiry, how is your throat? How is this element of spaciousness in your life now? How is your ability to express yourself at this time in your life? Just a quick inquiry. So whatever comes up, let it be that, and then we're going to move forward. And so we'll step right into a meditation with this inquiry. So we'll begin just simply closing our eyes, finding a seated position. Starting to notice your breath. The sense that the ether element is dedicated to are the ears, it is our hearing. So as we close our eyes and prepare to go inward, we are looking for a type of quiet, a space of stillness within. So we're turning off our mouths and we're opening our ears to a deeper state of listening within. Keeping your eyes closed and your ears open. Just listen to my voice as we begin a visualization of a blue, light blue ball of energy. Something like the sun, but coming off with this light blue color. And just allow this energy, this blue and white ball of energy, to come into the throat. Imagine with your mind's eye, your eyes closed, this light ball of energy coming to the throat. eyes, staying with your breath as we bring in this visualization. And here, keeping this blue and white ball of energy at the throat level, begin to bring in a vision, an imagining of an open meadow. In the middle of an open meadow, looking up to a big light blue sky, vast, no clouds, just wide open sky. Notice any feelings that come up with this imagining. Without judgment, just noticing anything that arises. As we visualize this wide open, light blue sky on a beautiful spring day, we bring this energy to our throat, back to this blue and white swimming ball of energy, bringing in this sense you may have experienced in the meadow of the open sky into the throat, creating a deep sense of spaciousness, open skies, a common emotion associated to this level of the chakra body here at the throat level, the throat layer, is grief and joy, looking at the spectrum of grief and joy. So giving yourself the respect and reverence of taking deep breaths about anything that arises, whether it's thoughts or emotions or physical discomforts. Give yourself the grace of slowing your breath in through your nose and out through your mouth, and allowing whatever's coming through just to move through without holding, without judgment, returning back to the open skies and this sense of openness and spaciousness at the throat level. As we go along this journey, there's always an invitation to pause the video, take a moment to breathe into anything that's come up. Take a moment to sit in a deeper meditation with these qualities. The more we tune in to the stillness and the silence inside, especially in this quality of ether element in our system, the more we tone our responses moment to moment with availability to such a space. When we meet something in a day that's pushing on us, we start to develop, with the practices of meeting this stillness in this quiet space, the ability to respond without pushing back as much as we are just simply being in a gracious way for our systems, creating spaciousness and quiet in order to deep listen for what we really need in a moment and how to stand for ourselves and others. So go ahead and take one more big deep breath in through the nose and mouth and out through the nose and mouth. This is ether style breathing. In through the nose and out through the mouth. It's, in through the nose and mouth, out through the nose and mouth. We're activating, we're opening all of our channels, so we're meeting a very calm state in the deep nervous system. We're looking at the parasympathetic nervous system with this element as well. So we are going to activate some and then come back into the parasympathetic, moving between these different types, these different states in our nervous system, which again comes back to the idea of we're toning our minds, we're toning our bodies to have a more ability to respond calmly and available to our senses in a moment that we may help ourselves and help others towards whatever we're meeting moment to moment. So, taking a few more breaths here. And so as we look at this quality of ether and just taking your time to slowly open your eyes, and we're still in seated position, just being for a moment, I'm going to share a little bit more on the body parts and how ether is traveling through the system, how we may relate to it and experience it. So the ether element largely is associating to our joints, these transition points where just like the medium it is at the throat for the elements, it's largely, we can see it as transition points where major energy currents are traveling through. So at our joints, and we also have the space in between our bodies, so where our fascia is floating around like a web throughout our entire system, where it's meeting the organs, where it's meeting the muscles, where it's meeting the bones, that in-between space, that is largely, that's the ether element. That's this, how are we moving through? So when it comes to feeling stickiness, now we're going beyond the throat and we're looking at how this element can feel around the system. So all of the elements are, we are made up of all of the elements all over our bodies and all cells all the time. So right now we're looking at the idea of ether moving through the system. So how we can relate joints, spaciousness, and the tissues between the fascia, looking at just fluid in the body, and how that may feel. So again, I come into this question, maybe we feel stucky or we feel sticky in different regions of our body. Something to consider is how may we meet that point with an opening, creating spaciousness, creating availability to all of the function, and that naturally wants to breathe through us and create health. So here we are, not being distracted by text messages. And with you now, we're looking at the ether element. And we're going to begin to explore our space first in our spine. So we're going to go into just opening the spine in all the directions, all 6 directions that it can go, in order to start to create space in the vertebrae. So we're going to just start with some side bending. How can we create a little more space in our lives? Giving ourselves a moment of stillness in the face of chaos, creating better responses. being available to the moment. Right now, we're just creating space by side bending, switching from the right to the left. Really look at reaching through the tip of your fingers and just noticing the opening in your deep side body and your back. Do 2 on each side in all directions. So I'm just going back the other way. Really reaching through your fingertips, creating space in the arm, reaching through the wrist, through the elbow, through the shoulder, feeling this pulling all the way through the side body, through the lats, through the low back, to the hip. Feel these lines of connection and acknowledge our part in creating space in the tissues and how we relate to it. As you breathe into each region, just breathe into creating space, listening to your body, reaching, breathing, listening. And we come back to center and we're going to go forward, just folding forward. You're really grabbing hold of those sit bones and tucking your sacrum in, allowing yourself to get good decompression in the low back. Big deep breaths, creating space. Slowly inhaling up. We're just going to lean back here a bit and just look at really rocking that pelvis forward, tilting, pouring the lower abdomen forward as we pull our sit bones up and back. Allowing a rock to happen, maybe just pretending like you're on a rocking chair here, so you can start to really play with this rock and tilt. My gut is responding to this. If you haven't already eliminated today, well, you're on track now. And one more time, tilting that pelvis forward and reaching your sit bones back and up. So we're having a slight arch in our low back and we're reaching our chest up. Coming back to center. And again, reaching forward. Tucking that tail, getting a deeper stretch in the low back. And again, coming back up and reaching back, tilting that pelvis forward, reaching the chest to the sky, pulling the sit bones back so we have a slight arch in our low back. Coming back to center. And last but not least, we're going to take some rotation. So just to either side, we're going to rotate. end to center, going to the other side. And one more time, breathing end to center, coming to the other side. Breathing into center. One more time, the other side. Alrighty. So here we just opened the spine in all of the directions, side bending, rotation, forward, back, creating space in the vertebrae, looking at this concept from the throat and the ether element through the tissues now, creating space in our joints and our bones and our ligaments, these deep structures that can become very compacted from the weight of gravity. And now here we are experiencing spaciousness and uplift in the face of gravity so that we may be held on earth but not pushed into earth. We're uplifting through the joints, through the spine, through the vertebrae, creating greater flow for our vital energy, ultimately giving ourselves access to a clearer mind and long-standing calm energy in the face of whatever comes in chaos. We may dance with it. And so we begin again. Here we're looking at the diaphragm. We've explored this once before. Today we're doing this with the intention to open up our lower and upper regions. When we open the diaphragm and we access the deep breath that comes through a diaphragm muscle that is more available and more spacious, we come into a ability to sustain our energy and our focus throughout the day. And so anytime we have anxiety build up, a lot of times this is happening around the upper chest. So we look at an exercise such as this to drop our breath down, to allow this energetic gateway of the diaphragm to have full range of its pump, its breath, so that our energy may move through the tops of our heads, through the base of our pelvis, and back out again. And we have a circulating energy current that comes through us, and all the elements are traveling through the ether medium. So ultimately, we're going to look at the gateway today, the diaphragm, as an access point to further assist all elements traveling through the ether channel and clearing that channel, so that this medium, I'm calling it a channel, I'm calling it a medium, it's this quality that interfaces and allows us to have expression of all other elements. So we're clearing the major channels, that an opening in a deep way through creating space and allowing us to have more access to this quality in our body and our lives through our breath, so of ether. So here we are. We're going to just do a little bit of diaphragm massage so we can locate our sternum in the center of our chest. Ooh, that's good. In fact, we're gonna, before we go into the diaphragm, we're gonna go here. We have our thymus gland that's deep to our sternum. A lot of this thymus gland's job is to help with our immune response and keeping us healthy to fight infection. And so here, we're just going to stimulate that a little bit because this is a gland that relates directly to the throat chakra and the ether element. So we're just going to just do some circular movements over this gland. bringing in this concept of spaciousness, bringing in this blue open sky into the chest, into this gland. And begin to tap a little bit here. We're just stimulating the gland. Just take a moment to notice in stillness what we've just stimulated through the thymus gland. And when you're ready, we're going to go from the sternum and start to locate, going down, palpating down the center of the chest, starting to locate where the ribs fold in, and coming in to under the ribs. Under the ribs lives the diaphragm. And we really want to make it a point to, as we grab hold of the rib, we're wanting to swim underneath the ribs, following the ribs. We have organs that also live here underneath the ribs. We have the stomach on the left, the liver on the right, and deep to that we've got gallbladders and spleens and all kinds of fun stuff. So ultimately, as we palpate into our diaphragm, make it a point to hook around the ribs and follow the ribs as much as you can, and start to lean forward into what the tissue you find behind the ribs. This is going to be the diaphragm attachment sites. And kind of just while you're folding over, take some big deep breaths as you're pushing into this diaphragm. And then slowly we're going to move down the rib line. So we're opening the energy currents through the diaphragm down the rib line. So just inch by inch, using the forward fold to get depth. On the exhales, really dive in to contact that diaphragm with your fingers. If you find any sore points, take a moment to rock into that and breathe. You can go multiple directions and start just really exploring. If you want to get depth, you go forward. You can roll around. Focus on your breathing. And then we're gonna get to where we're at the bottom ribs, and no longer are we following a ridge and you start to feel a separation and it's the lower rib. We're gonna rest there and let go. And then one more exercise here for the diaphragm. So we're going to place our hands on the sides of our lats here, and ultimately just grabbing the edges of the ribs where we were just massaging the diaphragm. And on the inhale, we're going to expand our diaphragm in all directions. We're multidimensional. We are going to open from the back body, the side bodies, the front body. Internally, we are expanding the diaphragm. So we breathe in and use our hands to help create a little force. Oh, hello, I'm back. My phone has low battery. We have just enough here. So we're creating a little force in order for our deep breath through the diaphragm to have something to open against and build strength for that muscle. So we're squeezing just a bit inward and up, and we're going to breathe in, expanding all directions, and breathe out. As you breathe out, allow yourself to push in a little bit more with your hands up into your diaphragm, in and up. Breathing in, expanding. Exhaling, pushing in. One more time, breathing in, expanding. Last breath, allowing the hands to come off and expand. Just take a moment to notice your breath, notice the diaphragm. Now, how is it different? Slowly, when you're ready, we'll go ahead and come into a forward fold. So we'll just breathe in and exhale, reach for your toes. So we've just spent a good amount of time on our back bodies and our upper extremity. Now we're just going to bring it through our legs. Now we've opened the diaphragm. We're going from our upper body to our lower body, and we're going to watch this energy travel through our systems, this sense of spaciousness. So slowly inhaling up, we're going to open the legs and begin to come into wide leg forward fold. So we'll just now reaching forward. Keeping your feet flexed, getting a full stretch here, really opening up the hamstrings, the insides of the legs, the adductors. Inhaling up and allowing ourselves to side bend, coming to one side here. And actually, yes, wonderful. We're going to reach for our right foot with our right hand. And meanwhile, our left hand's going to open up to the sky. So we are slowly just opening our joint space, reaching through the heels of the feet as well, opening in all directions, creating space. Inhaling up and swimming to the other side. Left hand goes to meet the front of the left foot, and right arm comes up and back. Really exploring with this, lengthening the side body, opening through the arm, through the heels, through the flex feet. Finding the angle that serves you best. Inhaling up, breathing into any of the sticky points and finding that angle. So as we reach down and up, we can come a little bit further back. We can go a little bit more forward, really just starting to use your arm to help find the angle that you feel a deep stretch through your entire side body, through the hip, through the leg, through the heel of the left foot. We're creating space. Going to the other side when you're ready. Empower yourself to remember the space we create in our tissues, we can create in our minds. Continue to bring in a deep state of stillness as we find ourselves in these postures for short periods, and find the color blue and white. Look at this orb in your throat and acknowledge the spaciousness traveling through your body. It's much more than the physical opening. Anything may come through these channels, emotions, memories. Allow yourself the grace of understanding that this may happen, and breathe deeply in each moment, bringing in a deep sense of stillness as we explore the nuances of each movement, whatever qualities come up in them. Is it heated? Is it sharp? Is it just tender? Really acknowledge those qualities as much as we are breathing into the space that we are creating in these movements through that sensation. So here we are. We're going to one more time forward fold, wide leg. Okay, and slowly we're going to bring our legs back in together. Just a little bit of windshield wipers for our core. We're going to come into one more movement before we do something a little different for me anyway. So here we have the cliffhanger. So we're going to just go into our fingers facing our feet, and we're resting our bum and our feet on the mats, and we're lifting our bum to go closer to our heels, and then we're going to drop and polish the spine, dropping the chin to the chest, tucking the tailbone, and inhaling, arching the back, lifting the chest, dropping the head back. Again, we are creating space, so we are active. We are actively reaching through the palms, through the joints, strengthening through the feet, and exhaling, we drop down, and we are actively dropping down. So we're feeling the palms of our hands support ourselves. We're feeling the sacrum tucking, our chin going to our chest. And one more time, we come up. Really bring those sit bones back, arching that low back, planting the feet, planting the hands, reaching. We are creating space in the spine. And so from here, we're going to find a stable point. We're going to go into reverse plank. So we're going to allow our hands to remain where our fingers are pointing towards our toes. And we're going to experiment a little bit, because this is a little awkward at first, it seems, for me. So have fun with this. So we're going to just kind of go up and lift the pelvis. So we're just creating a table here. Okay, and then with this table, we're going to just slowly drop our left leg to where our foot is reaching towards the floor. It's okay if the foot doesn't completely touch the floor, but that is the goal. So we are active foot reaching, toe pointed. We are reaching. We are lifting our glutes.
Bringing that left leg in, coming back to table.
And letting that right leg drop out and down, reaching that toe, squeezing and lifting the glutes, bringing the core into this, activate, reaching your foot towards the earth.
Bringing it back to table. Taking a moment if you need it, which I do. I think I'm going to adjust my hands just slightly so my shoulders are more stacked. And then one more time here, we're going to come up, and this time we're going to extend both legs.
And breathe. Squeezing your glutes, reaching your feet, lifting your pelvis to the sky, reaching through your hands, supporting your shoulders stacked.
And then bringing yourself down slowly, lifting up, coming into staff pose for a moment. Looking at these lines of force along our entire body, where we are opening our joints, creating space. Okay, and now we're just going to flip over and do plank the other direction. So we're in plank. So take a few deep breaths. Stack those joints, bring your weight into your hands, noticing the palm between your first finger and your second finger. And slowly knees, chest, chin. And coming up into up dog. Exhaling into child's pose. And slowly coming up into down dog. And when you're ready, we're going to walk our hands and feet together, hanging for a moment, and on the next inhale, halfway lift. Coming back down on the exhale, and on the next inhale, halfway lift. Exhaling, coming up. Coming up. I'm going to adjust. Hello, we have made it to standing. So here we are, continuing to step into the quality of the ether element within our systems today in these moments. So we're standing. So as we've just opened up large, major lines of force through our system, now I just want to explore joint by joint coming up the body, just to see where we are now, how we feel within our joints, the qualities that we're experiencing. So we're going to start with just rotating our ankles here. Little by little, we can change directions and just start to notice the body, the quality in the ankles. Going to do some knee rotations, just Just noticing the qualities in the knees. Always have fun. Start to get into that hip joint. Kind of just playing here. Just getting into this hip joint. A few kicks, that's always fun. Still getting my balance in order. Coming up through the spine, through the diaphragm. Notice the qualities in the back. Notice the space. Lifting. And beginning to look at rotation with the arms, the shoulders. If you want to focus this on the shoulder, you can come up, do something like this. Get into the elbows. Notice the qualities in the elbows. And the wrists. Opening the face and jaw and neck. Had a few ideas of where we might go. I think we'll just keep it simple today and jump back into some stimulation of the fluid, the lymph fluid. So we're just going to look at some shaking. So go ahead and just, now that we've connected with all the joints, we'll just look at the fluids in the system and just help out our lymph here as much as we are creating space, clearing the channels in the fluid system of the lymphs. Just jumping. Allow the limbs to go. Notice my arms, just let them flap. Go. Take a moment to come to standing, placing your thumbs across your body onto your sternum, and just start to check in. We just shook the system up. Let's take a moment to feel what this is like as we integrate our brain to the standing position. Connecting into the ether breath here, breathing in through the nose and mouth, and breathing out through the nose and mouth. Taking the time to notice the settling of the energy. Perhaps the body's thanking you for helping clear lymphatic pathways, for more processing of all of our goo-goo muck. When you're ready, we're going to go into a little bit more movement here. So we're going to begin with the pyramid. So we're bringing our legs wide, our toes pointed at an angle, and we're dropping in. Slowly bringing our hands to the top sides of our thighs, above our knees, and dropping our bums down, reaching our feet through the earth. So our feet are active here. Our feet are active. We are actively lifting ourselves up as we drop down. And our hands are creating it to where we can have arms that are stable but not locked. So we can use that as leverage to drop in and decompress the spine a little bit more. And when you've had enough, breathing in, coming up. And once more, we'll drop in. And this time, we'll just add a little bit of movement. Looking over either shoulder, twisting. When you're ready, breathing in, coming up, 5-pointed star. And going ahead and bringing that left foot facing forward and, left foot paralleling your right. So we're just going to face the toes forward, and then we're going to shift the right foot to where it's pointed out. Here goes words, y'all. So now we're going to go into triangle. Breathing in, dropping down, your right hand to your right ankle. We're reaching that left hip back. Breathing in, coming up. Rotating that right foot, rotating that left foot, coming the other direction with triangle, swinging that right hip out and back as we reach down towards our left foot with our left hand. Breathing in, coming up. Here, dropping into Goddess. A few big deep breaths. Coming up when you're ready. Coming to a center point and standing, and this is where really a send-off to the day, looking at the ether element. Now we're going to speak directly to the ultrasonic core, where we have our vital life force energy coming through our spine and just fountaining around our bodies through our spirits. And this energy is directly accessible through sound and movement, as much as it is a practice of the mind to remember that this is real and that we can breathe deeply and calm our nerves and create a closed circuit that allows our senses to be available moment to moment in a grounded way. And today we're looking at the spaciousness of the medium where our elements travel through this circuit. That was my last warning, 10%, so we're right on track. So again, we're just looking at the currents traveling through our entire system with this next movement and energizing us in a deep way. So again, do not do this before you go to sleep. Do this before you need energy for an activity that is suited for you best that way. So here we are, ultrasonic core opening. So we're going to just begin by putting our feet together and then having our heels touch and then allow our feet to come out slightly. We're not plieing, but the feet are at a slight angle, so our heels are touching. And we're going to use our breath. So first, our hands come to our sternum at our heart. And we're going to breathe in. 1 second here. And breathe out. So there's a few movements going on here. So again, we're beginning standing. And while we're standing, we're also slightly bending at the knee here. So we're slightly bending at the knee, and then we're inhaling up, extending through the knees now. And exhaling, slight bend at the knees again. And this time dropping the head back as we reach our arms back and up to the sky. And we open our mouths to open our jaws here. And take in a few deep ether breaths, in through the nose, in through the mouth, out through the mouth and nose, in through the mouth and nose. And then on the next inhale, coming up, reaching up to the sky, extending everything, and coming down. Hands to chest, knees bent. And we're going to do this a few times. So coming up, reaching, extending, coming down, opening, bending knees, arching back, head comes back, extending the neck back. Breathing in, coming up, extending. Breathing out, coming down, hands to chest, bending knees. And again, finding your own rhythm here. You can go as slow as fast as you'd like here. We are building energy. Come to a end point on the next round, or wherever you are, coming back to the center of just standing, heart, hands at heart. Once you find yourself there, allowing yourself to just slowly let go. And now coming into an invitation, into integration. Place your right hand on your chest, your left hand on your belly, below your navel. You may be feeling all kinds of sensation in this movement of the ultrasonic core opening. It gives our body the chance to move stagnant energies, especially through our vital currents within the spine. So we've created space in the entire system, and now we're generating an energy pump to move through this space, speaking to spaciousness on a cellular level, speaking to spaciousness in our minds and our emotions and our hearts. We hold our hearts and we hold our navel as we integrate with these contact points on our body through our touch. We create a circuit that informs our body we are safe, we are available. We are safe and we are available for that which the day may bring. And here, let's just check in with our throats one more time. Start to come in to awareness around the throat. Start to notice the quality of the throat now. If there's any tightening, any constricting, just take the time to breathe in through the nose and mouth and out through the nose and mouth, and release that. Bringing in the visualization of a wide open blue, bright blue sky in a meadow. Once you feel a drop in your energy and a new sense of calm and quiet, you may start to slowly open your eyes and just start to take in your environment. With this newfound sense of open and available energy currents throughout the body. And may we take this into the day, remembering as we meet inequalities that bring us into our throat body, any sense of feeling restricted or a lack of self-expression or maybe too much self-expression, we can look at some of the tools we've explored and deepening the breath,
creating space through lifting in your tissues. And bring that to the mind, back to that wide open blue sky. We have all of these practices in place to assist us in our explorations from moment to moment, for we are always in and out of balance, as much as we have an ability to understand what balance may look like for us in a moment and come out of old patterns that are no longer active and current. I hope this may serve you well in your day-to-day, and that you may have the energy you need to calmly face the chaos of the day and beyond. Thank you.